with Cook's Books, and today I'm here to do the anti-TBR tag, which is exciting because I've not done a tag that I filmed, edited and uploaded since like March, and I love to be a cynical bitch. So let's crack on with the tag. Question 1. What is a popular book that everyone loves that I have no interest in reading? And honestly, this year I have really grown away from YA. Like, the YA I have read, I've absolutely loved. But for some reason, I just find myself picking it up less and less, even though I love it so much. So any of those really big YA releases this year probably kind of wouldn't really be that bothered about. So kind of the big chunky Sarah J Maas Crescent City, absolutely not. One about mermaids in San Francisco that everyone's been talking about, No Way in Hell. I'm just really not looking to pick any more up for a while. Maybe I just need a little break. A classic book or author you have no interest in reading. This is a little bit trickier because I do really enjoy my classics. I've read a lot of Thomas Hardy the past couple of years. I think I'm ready to be done with Thomas Hardy. I think I've read all of the big books by him. I'm not going to look for any more. One author who I have not read anything more than a couple of pages by, and really would rather lose the ability to read than read from again, is Charles Dickens. Mr. Dicky, as we shall call him. You can tell he was paid by the word. Yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts this year about kind of the Western canon and why we are made to read the books we are made to read. And obviously the answer is because of old white men. I tried to read Great Expectations once when I was 12, which is probably too young to read Great Expectations. And my mum loved the adaptation, which is probably another reason why I had a go at it. And it was just dire. Hated it. Nearly tried to chuck it out the window. And it's put me off Dickens forever. But he was really good friends with Wilkie Collins, who was an absolute legend and wrote one of my favourite classics ever. Which is always why I'm like, maybe there's something to it that I just don't quite get yet. Maybe Wilkie was onto something, being friends with this Dicky man. An author whose books you have no interest in reading. Let's just, from the top, make it drop. People I will never read from again. J.K. Rowling. Like, I've made many a video about this for years, and everyone was like, oh, you're jumping the gun a little bit. I don't think she's that problematic. Then this year hit, bitches. And I'm expecting a written and signed apology from all of you. But in the same breath, Brandon Sanderson is just as bad, and y'all are still hyping up every release he gets. The hypocrisy is stinky. So I shall not also be picking up Mr. Sanderson's works ever, and I'm quite content with that. I think I'm probably going to stop reading George R.R. Martin because of his behaviour at the Hugos this year, and also because, like, really question yourself, are the Game of Thrones books that good? Are the Song of Ice and Fire books worthy of what we've given them? I mean, it is hours of my life, days of my life that I've given them. I don't really think they deserved it anymore. Oh, apparently question 3 part 2 was like problematic authors, so that kind of answers all of those. Are there any authors that I just don't want to read because of the stuff they write? Why I'm looking at my TBR shelf. If you're there, I want to read you. No, I think it is mostly kind of problematic authors I stray away from, just because I read nearly any genre. I am quite open to what I read, so there's not many authors who I kind of have a premeditation that I wouldn't touch with a barge pole. Daisy Johnson! Well, I've just been constantly disappointed by Daisy Johnson, and yet bought myself an anthology that she edited, so who's the hypocrite now? Okay, is there an author you've read a couple of books from and decided they aren't for you? Look at my shelf. You know what? There are a couple of people I would probably class in this category, and a lot of them are sci-fi. Philip K. Dick, I've read 2 or 3 books by now, and I've just decided they're not really for me. Similarly, Stanislaw Lem, who wrote huge cult classics like Solaris. I loved his short story collection, The Three Electronites. Hated Solaris with a passion, and if it's going to be that hit or miss, I'm going to miss. In terms of translated books, there is an author who I will not be going near ever again. It's Hiromi Kawakomi. I think it's a she. Yes, it is a woman. Writes very sexually icky books that don't actually have any sex in them. It's very lecherous. It's very misogynistic. I always get confused how a woman can write it. I have 1 more of her books on my shelf unread, and that's going to be her last chance saloon for me. It really is. What is a genre you have no interest in, or you've tried out and it isn't for you? I've tried a couple of genres this year that I wasn't big on before and I've loved them. Like, I have really gotten into historical fiction this year. By saying that, I mean I've read 4 historical fiction books, but for me, unheard of. I know that I probably will never like horror because I'm too much of a scaredy cat. Same for thrillers. I just don't see the attraction of it at all. Books that are purely romance, I get quite bored with. I like to have quite a meaty plot, and normally romance is very character driven. And for some reason I don't vibe with it. To me that needs to be like a background plot if I really have to deal with it at all, because I find romance in books embarrassing for them and for me. A book you have bought but will never read. So it's saying this can be an unhaul, or a book you got from the library and sent back. Ooh, that is a really hard one actually, because there are definitely books that I've kind of bought when I was quite young and grown away from, or I've bought because it was cheap and I kind of had a bit of an interest in it at the time that's waned. I think, to be honest, if I'm being totally honest with myself, it is unlikely that I will ever read War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, but I want to, and I don't want to say that I won't because then that gives me an excuse not to try. God, that is heavy. Okay, I have a couple of Penguin English Library editions that I bought with the intention of reading for Halloween one year, which are The Beetle by Richard Marsh and Melmoth the Wanderer by Charles Maturin, which is massive. I don't know when I'm going to read these. I mean, the classics, I'm happy to have them kicking around until I do. I'm sure one Halloween I'm going to give myself time to read them. But, they're a commitment. And as well, I bought Melmoth by Sarah Perry, having quite enjoyed The Essex Serpent. And I thought I would read this before I read Melmoth. So, kind of, I need to get this chain reaction going so I can actually get to Melmoth as well. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. Let me talk to you about Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Thorns and Roses. I read it to make a video, to make like a hate reading vlog, because it's been a long time since I've hate read anything, like maybe since I was at uni, and it's an ancient and hallowed practice that I just love. I love it. And my God, was it an incredible hate reading experience? Yes. Do I bitterly resent the fact that I've wasted time in my life on that book? Yes. I'd never had any intention to continue reading the series, to be honest. If Jessie ends up liking it and then keeps buying the books, maybe I will, just because they're there. And like having books on our communal shelf that I've never read causes me a lot of anxiety. But if I had my own choice, the rest of Sarah J. Maas's books would not step foot in this house. The last question is, what is a new release that you have no intention of reading? To be honest, I have not kept up to date on the new releases this year. I know that I should want to read Suggybane by Stuart What's-His-Face the new Booker winner. I know I should want to read that because it's queer and it's Scottish and, you know, Northern and Scottish solidarity, but I cannot. It looks sad. It looks sad. At the minute, anything that looks sad, I just cannot force myself to read. I mean, we are living through a global pandemic, kids. Let's not put this extra expectation on ourselves to read these books. I don't think I can do it right now. So those were all the questions on the anti-TBR tag. I know that I have a really weird energy on TBR tags. I get really bitchy and really into them. So thank you for putting up with me. Let me know if you would like to have a fight about anything I've said. Let's have an argument in the comments because, you know, I don't deserve rights. Thanks for watching. Bye.